tax roll correction. We need to sign, just one sheet.
Double taxation in mobile home. Look at that.
I gave you the hot for 40 minutes. Joe emailed them to me, so I'll look those over.
I make a motion to approve this tax roll correction.
A second.
Been moved and seconded, we approve the tax roll correction. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried.
Recess.
Well, that's kind of what I was thinking, Steve. Yeah. We're in, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
I'm not gonna get this back.
Morning.
We're going to do a real short after action review of the tornado. Yeah, in that report, some of the data in that report, especially the valuations, I think they're going to go up, but we just made a preliminary estimate off appraisals. And
So what was, is it in here?
It's
The estimated total?
just structure loss is all the state wanted to know about, and as far as like equipment losses and things of that sort, I don't know that we'd ever know, but even our structural losses, I think, are going to be way exceeding what we was able to kind of throw together with the prices.
But took down several systems in the irrigation.
Pardon?
It took down several irrigation systems.
Oh, it took a lot of those.
I see that.
A lot of trucks, just a lot of equipment. Everything that was in buildings was a loss. But primary losses was the Ward family's 2 properties, the Dix property, and Fairchild's property up north. Pretty much total losses in those places, and then some moderate losses in a few other places. But pretty lucky from when you look at the travel pattern that the National Weather Service put with one of those maps. This would have been the one that you're looking at. Their plating is the where it came up from the south and it stayed on the ground for about 30-some miles. But really it was the same thing. So it stayed on the ground for around 70 miles. I must not have the secondary one on there, but
The yellow.
on that, is it on? For some reason I lost that
It's
second
the
one.
backside, but
Okay, I'll have that other one because there should be the other one with the yellow one, which is in Stafford County.
right.
Well, paper
I
half broke
thought I
down.
had it on there, but I guess I didn't put it on there. But I've got another one I can give you if you come over at 11. But it actually did a little bit of a southerly jog right when it came up on Maxville and skirted the southern edge of it. And then when it came up on St. John, it took a little skirt up north, and luckily missed St. John, and then it kind of did a southerly dip. So it took a northerly dip, kind of a northerly turn there, and then it took a southerly dip when it came up on Hudson. So we certainly could have, it could have been
Yeah, just skirted
devastating
Hudson too, didn't
the
it?
3 cities.
Yeah, just to the south, about a mile. Yeah.
Not like St. John, I don't know.
So we're doing a conference call with the state at 10 o'clock. They're just getting damage estimates.
Station 450 radio, control burn information being zone 511. Bill Sims will be burning.
They'll do a total loss
brush
estimate for the whole
from the
state,
residents at
and then that'll
1036 Northwest
determine
70th Avenue.
if federal
Question
assistance.
claimant at 8:45
From what
hours.
I understand, the assistance would only come back in the form of covering infrastructure costs, so roads and bridges, all of their costs for being out and doing whatever work they did, city workers here in St. John, and any damages to infrastructure such as sewer stations, things of that sort. So we'll be on a conference call with them at 10 o'clock, and then we'll do the after action over the annex at 11. And then if I could have an executive session for discuss non-elected personnel for 10 minutes.
Okay.
Before we go in, Steve, I just want to say, you know, I appreciate you being out there on the scene, and you were out early, and Red Cross did come out, and
They did.
anyhow, what I've heard and what I know, it looks like we did everything we could do.
We were certainly fortunate. The building out there that we built worked well. We're probably going to need to look at a shelter place for those people. And we just ran out of money, but I think we can drop a shelter, like a below ground shelter, just right outside the doors of them. But those people need to take shelter sometimes too. And it was looking like that maybe we was going to have to go into the bathrooms at one point.
Certainly in a couple of rooms.
Yeah.
And those blocks won't be too sturdy.
No, it's and I thought about calling the dispatcher out to assist out there, but really didn't want to put them in there with the way the storm was headed towards that area. But we staffed that with 3 people, and that took a load of work off the lone dispatcher. And what we found and discovered that was a lot of people were listening to that radio traffic versus their weather radio traffic, because they knew we were in direct contact with mostly the sheriff's personnel, and they were storm spotting, giving us information directly back via radio at the same time we're watching on radar. And so they were listening to that, and I believe that some of them took shelter once we lost radio contact. They figured it was time to head below ground.
Yeah, the people with scanners were the ones that were most comfortable and best informed, is basically what he said.
Okay.
Okay, I'll make a motion. We go into 10-minute executive session to discuss non-elected personnel.
I second it.
It's been moved and seconded, we go into executive session for 10 minutes, non-elected personnel. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay.
He used to
Where
work
Sam
here.
used to live.
He used to work here at Dillon's.
Yeah, hopefully for
He works for Coca-Cola now, or he did, I mean, that's last time.
I didn't see
You're right there across from David, then,
I
right?
didn't see him for a
So he lived in the grandpa's house?
Yeah, he brought that.
So whose equipment and all that?
That's
David's,
David's shed.
the shed to the south there was David's. The new shed in the house, the new shed was Stanton's that didn't get hurt.
Yeah. We went by there yesterday.
Kind of strange.
And Dick's have already got walls up and
Oh, they do?
new lumber, yeah.
That's it, he's starting to build David's
Wow.
building, I guess it said, right?
And Salem has a.
Oh, the pole shed that he lost back behind.
Said he's just starting up, the paper said he's just starting, he's in process of construction one back there.
I don't know if it's pole shed, I shouldn't say that, but
And
yeah.
Salem has a gooseneck full of new shingles parked out front.
That'd be a big house, too. There's a tall house.
You get a nosebleed. Get on top of that
Yeah,
roof.
ground. Stay down in the corner. Yes, sir.
Well,
We got the
this-
brain session.
We're in.
Oh, we are?
Here we are.
Oh.
right there, that's just kind of FYI, that's for undercarriage on the dozer, so when you see this bill, you're not going, if you want to make a motion, I mean, that's up to you guys, but it's unfortunately maintenance that needs to be done. And we had budgeted for it, we budgeted.
I thought we talked about this already.
Yeah, we did, I mean, but
That's
that way when you.
pretty much what you said.
Well, yeah, and it could be just a little more or a little less, depending on, when they have to replace
If
it.
I'm thinking about the right thing. So I thought we talked about it.
Yeah, we did. It was either that or, well, we talked about, well, do we want to do this, or we want to maybe think about buying it differently. And I think we opted on this route. Which, it should put the dozer up in real good shape.
How old is it?
It's why did you ask me that?
Because I like to.
It's a 92, I want to say. But in the last year, we redid the cylinders on the front, they chromed, we redid the radiator on it. So we did a lot of the hoses on it, so we should have it up in good shape.
Does that have a lot of R's on it?
Oh, well, it's hard.
I mean, I don't have too many, don't you, these are awful to you.
No, we're probably running 300 hours a year at the most,
So the last one time.
Yeah. It's kind of like the excavator, I mean, when you need it, you need it.
Yeah.
We took a lot of this, I mean, we used it a lot, and that was real hard on that air carriage, and it finished it off, and we pushed a lot of sand this last winter. And so that kind of finished off the rails on it, the pins on it.
So you're getting sprockets, rails, pins, everything out there, the whole undercarriage?
Yeah, we'll haul it to Wichita, and we'll take the body off of it. Other than that, we've been having Dave look for a truck, and I've been looking for a truck we had scheduled to replace a dump truck this year. We've been trying to find a lower mileage truck, and we'll buy a lower mileage truck.
300,000 or something?
Well, yeah, 2.5 to, 300,000. That market's kind of dried up. So we finally located a truck that we're put this plow on it, but it's a truck with 475,000.
Really?
It's an 06 Sterling.
Jeez,
Yeah. Truck market's kind of nuts.
I never can figure the truck market out. You go out and buy a semi for $5,000, it's, 4 or 5 years old. Yeah, it's got miles on it.
And this was-
and then you turn around and you can't buy a pickup for 50. It's just crazy.
And he's got a stretch of frame on this. Could put a box on it.
He's done it before, and
Yeah, he's built, God, I don't know how many trucks for us. This has got a C13 cab on it.
what kind of motor's in that grader, or not, in the dozer,
It's a Cummins.
isn't it? Is that a dresser?
Dresser's no longer Komatsu.
Dresser's part of
Sucked him up. Dresser used to be a big.
That was international version of it, right?
Dresser ended up buying International Gag and all them out, and then
Yeah.
Komatsu come in and bought
Then
them.
Gotcha. Okay. The parts and stuff are still available out of this. And that's what Barry Tractor sells and stuff.
Wasn't for throw this all back when we.
So do we need two motions here? Or we already discussed it?
I don't know, that's whatever you guys would like to do. I mean,
I don't think we voted on this dozer undercarriage, did we? I think
no,
we
we just had it, we had it in the budget to do it.
I might even be confusing it with something else, so I think.
I mean, I didn't want this big bill to come up here and you guys say, what in the world is that?
Okay. You don't know? No.
Do you have that truck in your budget too?
Yes.
So you need a motion on this repairs for Barry Tractor for the
It's a TD-12
dozer for replace the undercarriage with an amount of 28.4.
28.4 should be the high end if it takes front idlers. If it doesn't have to have the front idlers, it's 20.
Yeah, with the front, they did
Yeah.
23.2.
We'll measure everything up and they get it all.
Is that a motion?
Yes. Okay, I'll second that motion.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded that we accept the bid for the repair of the dozer from Barry Tractor for a total of $28,400 on the high end, or $23,200, depending on parts. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
What's a new dozer cost?
Oh, my goodness.
300?
Probably.
About that.
Depends on what's, then that's the crazy thing about a lot of this stuff, the sizes. The D6 now has a motor and the horsepower of 407 has. It's just, I mean, the
They
horsepower.
always say that, but it's
The
still.
horsepower, well, even the weight on it is
Then why don't they call it a D7?
because the D7 is got, yeah, it's just nuts.
Yeah.
It is, it's just nuts.
So do you want to proceed on this truck?
Well, if we don't do this now, I mean, it's gonna be fall before we do it. I mean, I don't know that we're gonna find anything better.
Has he, where are you shopping around for trucks for, where all does he go down southwest or what, or?
Yeah, Dave's been having his contacts.
He used to work with them down in southwest.
Yeah, I mean, that's where several of the trucks have come from. And other than one truck we had a little problem with, and that's the problem with buying used. I mean, everybody understands that when we do it. We've always had good luck. Now, this truck is actually in Hill City. We went and looked at that. It's a good looking truck.
So Hill City will take your old truck straight?
No, Dave takes a trade.
Dave takes it. And then what's he gonna do with it? He just tries to sell it.
Sells it to somebody, township or something.
I see.
The last one, I think, Douglas Township.
Put bed all the stuff. got
So
that stuff.
you don't take your old bed and stuff off now?
No, we typically would buy a new bed.
I see.
Well, I mean, after so long, the floors get beat up, you know, and they get nicked up and cut up. I mean, yeah, you could probably do that, but I don't know if you're gonna save anything about it. Because it makes your trade-in worth more. Because, I mean, if you traded that truck in, that's about the only thing that I could do with it is put a bed on it. Because it's got that stretch frame on it.
Okay.
So you get new tires on the front, recaps on the rear,
Is that what it is down
new tires front and recap. I presume the recaps.
there? Yeah, probably, yeah. I mean, typically tires on a dump truck, especially on the rear end, if we get 20,000 miles out of a tire, we're pretty lucky. Yeah, they just do it up.
Okay, well, I'll make the motion, we go ahead and proceed with Midwest Truck and Tractor for a 2006 Sterling dump truck for $65,000.
I second motion.
It's been moved and seconded that we accept the bid from Midwest Truck and Tractor for a new dump truck for $65,000. All in favor? Say aye.
Aye.
Motion carried.
And you said you did have this in your,
Yes,
Budget for this.
we budgeted for this. Third, we got all the trees cleaned up from last week.
That's what I was going to ask you.
And I think we finished up on Wednesday, so Thursday we go back to cleaning ditches.
We didn't have any damage on any of our facilities, sanitary or nothing.
Knocked the chain off of the shaker plant, but guys went back on. I mean, it didn't harm it, just where that, out there on the screening plant, the separator sits out there like this, and it hangs by the chain. And the wind hadn't blown to it. I mean, I wouldn't want to stand there. I mean, because it's a half-inch chain that holds the thing up.
yeah, I'm surprised that stuff out there didn't get turned
Yeah.
around or damaged or anything out there.
That's the only thing I figure is maybe it was because of the sand pile sitting there right down to his side of it. It was close enough that it didn't really let the wind get up. motion out of it. It was short and eventful weekend.
This weekend was much better.
Yes. I agree.
Except for the frost this morning, I don't know. That's,
Was it very widespread or kind of spotty?
I don't know.
I seen it on the roofs, I mean, that's why.
Went out early and looked around, tried to ask people what I thought knew something, and I didn't get very good answers.
So it didn't get below freezing, did it?
Yes.
Didn't hear town,
Great Bend was 32.
was it? We was about 34, 30, I looked at mine.
I had frost on my yard. And
There was frost here in town, but it wasn't that common.
the problem is that the wheat's very vulnerable. That you don't have to kill the plant; you just kill them the bloom.
Yeah, bloom, yeah.
It's just like a fruit tree. And not going to hurt the tree, but you're not going to get any fruit.
Then you don't need to worry about looking at those peach trees. Did he tell you that?
Yeah, I kind of just blurted out that we were going to have a lot of peaches. And I thought he looked a little distressed. And I said, why? And he said, well, I don't have any trees left.
Yeah.
Took them all.
Did it take trees on it?
Yeah.
Yeah, Garland had a little orchard out there.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're just, this, I mean, the ice storm didn't do very good here a few years ago, and then this, and it just kind of that, did it, man, he said, there are no more.
Yeah. He said the trees weren't so bad, but the little peaches had sand in them. Dirt. Just blown into the bark and as well as the little peaches. Well, I mean, there were broken limbs and so on and so forth. So you just don't have to worry about them anymore.
Other than that, that's all I
I don't have any.
have. You still living there?
Yeah, I was up there talking to him.
We haven't north shore yet, we're up there on that.
Actually, it looks like a road now.
Apparently, one of the neighbors wasn't very happy with you. Did you hear that story?
Little gal drives a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wish I could, I wish she'd come see me.
I wish she would too.
No, yeah.
You still got an excavator with a big old, you can dig a big hole. I think we're done. This recess. So yeah, no, I.
We have a good editor.
Oh,
We have had, last year you authorized $6,000 for the Rural Opportunity Zone Student Loan Repayment Program, which is 4 participants, full rate. We have 3 who have signed up, are approved. We have an employer in Maxville, an employer in Stafford that have each hired people using this as part of the incentive. We have an employer near Hudson that is actively trying to recruit a couple who may qualify, so we're kind of running out of authority. The Board of Directors for Economic Development looked at our budget at their last meeting, decided we could move money from one category to another and be in good standing by doing that, and so they've moved to authorize a total of $10,000 within Economic Development's budget for this. In my first conversations with the Department of Commerce, they said providing just documentation of that board action would be adequate for their purposes. I think they thought that the board was you guys, and they told me that we need to have a county commission resolution endorsing that. So I just drafted this morning. Can we kind of, I guess I'm presenting it to you to kind of consider as a first reading or something. I'm not really asking for your definitive action today, but just kind of make sure that you're kind of aware aware and comfortable with this. I'll make sure in the next week that it meets Department of Commerce's expectations, and then we can kind of come back for final action. But I tried to make it perfectly clear that this is within the existing budget allocation that you provide to economic development. And I have our most recent monthly profit and loss to show you that we are in good shape budget-wise this year and can cover it.
I'm not sure why we have to be involved with this.
Well, you were the one, I know, but the counties were the ones that opted into the program,
Oh,
I
I
guess
see.
is my only explanation for that. Counties opt in even if it is funding coming from a private foundation or whatever.
Yeah, we had to have opt-in.
Okay.
Do we need Sheepeg to look at this?
It might not hurt.
There you go.
Probably.
Yeah, I think it's actually helping.
Yeah.
Shows you what I know.
And then the other part of it is that the state has come up with some brochures they're providing to all the high schools in anticipation of high school reunions in May. They're really gearing up their marketing efforts, and conceivably we could be running out of authority just at the time that the real marketing push hits. So trying to be proactive in that front.
Okay. Well, it's nice of the state to come up with all these good ideas and not give us any money
I
to do it.
know.
And then didn't they name a few more counties that qualify for the ROZ rather than the addition, the original 50?
Say
Now
that,
it's
it sounds familiar, but I'm
55.
not sure exactly what, or if final passages occurred yet.
It's just like, this is a good idea, but we're not gonna give you any money to help you with this, at the state level. The governor thinks it's a good idea.
But yes, I know.
And, it kind of puts us in, as you know, a situation where, if we don't do it, we passed up a good opportunity to get somebody to move to the county. So it's,
And if you do it, you're charging the people who are here taxes to support it,
to pay for the new.
to pay for the new guy, which doesn't seem quite fair. But
What's new?
I don't see any problem with that. What
Is
you
this
do.
one you want me to give to Joe then?
Yeah,
Are you
it's
going
fine. The only thing that I may need to, as I went back through what he told me he needed to have in there, I didn't specifically spell out that due to the success of this program.
Okay.
I don't know if it covers it.
But your basic content will stay like this. Okay, I'll send it right there.
Okay. You want me to email it to you?
Oh, that'd be great.
I'll do
that
that.
electronic.
Yeah.
Shoot
Okay.
it to me.
I'm not
Okay.
sure even for sure if this meeting's gonna happen Wednesday night. Are you gonna be available if they want to discuss windmills and a few things like that?
Wednesday night?
Yeah, we were gonna meet at 7,
Okay.
and windmills aren't real high on our priority list at this point, but the cooperation between the counties, you've already established some. I don't know. I have no idea where this is even gonna fall. That's why I'm just asking you.
Maybe pushing it. I've got an out-of-town meeting Wednesday afternoon, but it's possible. And the other part of that is that at the economic development level, we are already meeting as
Okay.
directors and have a meeting set. Our next one is May 11th or 17th. I can't remember
It'd be
which.
nice, okay, it'd be nice if we don't wanna, work towards the same goal on separate paths here.
It's when you hear what would be different about working on the wind energy.
I'm just not wanting to duplicate the process. So I guess really, all maybe we'd be interested in is what's happening, what you're doing, where you're at. Which we don't have to have at this meeting at all.
Okay.
But if you were
I
gonna
don't
be
know.
available, something we could discuss.
Okay. Are the other directors gonna be there at this one too?
Well, Jennifer's
I mean, I don't know
called
that
and
I'm
said that
like-
she's not gonna be available Wednesday, so I'm not even sure we're gonna have the meeting yet. Haven't heard back from Pratt, Jennifer Schartz from Clark County.
Yeah.
And,
Where I'm going with this is that I'm not sure, I'm really, I should speak for all of the economic development directors if they're not there. We met once, we're meeting again coming up, kind of laid
All
the
I want.
groundwork at the first meeting. We didn't really necessarily lay out the agenda, this is exactly what we're going to do, but probably get a little closer to that in May.
okay. That'd be all right.
Is that, okay.
Yeah, I think that'd be fine. I don't want us going down the path or saying this is what we need to do, and you guys are already, there. But I just want the counties to work together and cooperate. And I'm not so sure that the commissioners are even aware of this cooperation yet. I'm not. Other than, what we've discussed. What you would like to do.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, I'm not sure that's what the
So,
state.
so we're not past that yet, is what you're saying. Okay, good, all right. We won't worry about it this meeting.
Okay. You're running more focused on lobbying as a first step, is
Yeah.
that what I?
We're gonna set priorities. Right? I mean, that's, whatever input you have, I can listen to right now, as far as suggestions on what we should do. Because we don't have, no, that doesn't necessarily have to be our priority, is lobbying. We're gonna discuss, wind could very easily be the reason we're together. Highways could be the reason we're together,
It's just that we've got to get everybody on board and get all the information we can gather, rather than going up there and flying by the seat of the pants and talking to people and to people. I mean, we have to have the facts and figures and who's in support and who's not, and what the ultimate goal would be, by generating more revenue. Well, the goal is to reduce the tax burden on real estate or on property. And it's going to take more than just 1 or 2 meetings. And, I think the thing we should pursue is some voice, whether it be a lobbyist or a group. They mentioned, what was the acronym? Central,
Freedom?
CREDA. Have we ever attended a CREDA meeting
You and I did in Greensboro.
in Greensburg? And I didn't, I didn't get much from that. I mean, the Sunflower Electric Co-op was, seemed like it was saying the most.
I, at different times, felt like it was a hand-wringing group.
Yeah.
At
So,
different times,
yeah.
that there was more, that there was more benefit to it, I guess. We aren't formally members as this county.
Right. But I just don't want to base my opinions on just one meeting, or, I'd like to get more information on what they're pursuing, and it was like they were focusing on that Northwest economic, whatever it was, and they had so many counties involved, like 20 or 30. And I don't even remember what the point was.
I don't either. They, in different, I think what kind of gave them fuel in the early years was recruiting dairies in
Yeah.
the western part of the state. And when they can, this is, I don't know if this is a fair assessment or not, but when they can kind of identify a particular initiative that they can rally around is maybe when they show their most, the best
Mhm,
level of
mhm.
effectiveness, and I don't know what that is at the moment.
Well, I see that Yucatan's gonna build some huge facility for,
Cheese manufacturing.
yeah.
What's going to Yucatan now?
I don't know that it's the same one that was expressing some, or just shopping around. I don't know if it's the same one or if it's the one in Dodge that's, I haven't gotten the real
See,
backstory on
that's
it.
where Curtis went, right by the cheese factory. Curtis is a gearbox manufacturing
Oh,
facility in Dodge City. They're building by the cheese factory, which isn't in existence at all. Cheese factories moving all over the country, apparently.
Really?
Well, if they're talking about Hugoton, there can't be that many cheese factories, that much of a demand. They can't get enough milk for one, nor would they build two of them. That's interesting. Okay.
But I guess the point is, we need to gather more information, rather than just, and I think this is what, you know, we're starting. And maybe the time November rolls around, we'll have a nice platform to present.
okay. So the information you want from me is oriented toward what kind of things you think that the counties could best work on together?
What do we want from you is what you're asking.
Right.
Okay. We want your assistance in any lobbying attempts we're going to make. We figure, I feel that you probably can help us there. You know, you've got those three issues over there where we discussed about the wells and the cattle and the syrup. Guess that's yours, isn't it? I don't know who put that up here.
Yeah, I wrote that.
Anyhow.
That's right.
Anyhow, I think that's going to be our priorities.
Okay.
And then the other issues that we discussed about highways, cooperation among ourselves and the highways, and which is also a lobbying thing probably, and the wind power. I really didn't hear a whole lot other than that at the meeting, did you? That was brought up that they wanted to talk about. We talked about some zoning issues. Well, we never really got to that.
That's the thing, we really never got on there.
I mean, we have, I guess, the other counties.
I mean,
That's probably not something we'll need your help on.
if we got into those zoning things, and that could even somewhat overlap with housing-oriented stuff. I got an email just this morning about something on the Overland Development Group. Some of the other ED directors have more of a background with them than I do, including Cortland in Pawnee County. But it's a for-profit development group that is looking at building what they call it, multifamily housing for like 16 up to even 40-some, units. Well, they can benefit from certain designations of development areas that, that's where I say Portland's a little more attuned to this kind of stuff than I am, and working as a group might be useful. Some of that.
There's no doubt wherever I go in the county that housing is, and people are aware of it, housing is just becoming a major issue. It's just,
Right.
it's hard.
And
Really hard
this
to
is one
find
of
a
the things
place.
I independently am working on is getting a formal housing. I've come to realize that we need probably a formal housing assessment, similar to what Doris is taking on with the healthcare, that it will probably be the kind of thing that both private investors are going to expect before they, like Overland or whoever else, but also if we are to compete for various grant opportunities. I'm aware of one now that is through the Federal Home Loan Bank, having the kind of data in place that a formal housing assessment provides may position us to be more competitive for something like that. Even though we all intuitively know that housing is one of those barriers, we've probably got to more formally document what wages are, what the housing inventory is, and all that kind of stuff.
So how do you proceed with that? What do you do about that?
The Federal Home Loan Bank is, I should go in and check if it's finally come in the mail yet, but they're supposed to be giving me a template that will help guide us. I'm hopeful that we've got enough data existing in some cases, and if in other cases that template can kind of help structure that we can do it in-house instead of paying a consultant to do it. Places like Hayes are paying consultants to do it, you know, it's a $6,000 or $7,000 cost. I'm hopeful that this will structure it in a way that we can just do that in-house.
Okay. Sounds interesting.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right, thank you.
That's it.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, I don't know how to phrase this, but I'm make a motion, I guess, that we allow the chairman, Roger Fancher, to be our representative for Stafford County in this endeavor that we're trying to form this cooperative with surrounding counties and be our spokesperson.
And I'll second that motion.
It's been moved and seconded that I represent the county in our endeavors with cooperating with our area counties. All in favor, say
Aye.
Motion carried. Anything else?
I have nothing.
We are adjourned.
It's Pips B.